Alrighty everybody, what's up? Better Every Day here with another video, and this is a good one. This is a good one, so listen closely. If you do not forget what I'm going to tell you in this video, you will be successful in whatever it is you want to be successful in. Anything. It's money, it can be like a goal in the gym, like weight, whatever it is, you use this technique, you use this strategy, you will be successful. So what is it? It's very simple. I'm going to use money first as an example. So here's a problem a lot of people make. They have these goals for themselves, right? And they set a goal because people say, well, if you want to be successful, you need to set a goal. And that is true, but if that's all you're doing, your success is maybe went up by 5, 10, 20%, but it's still not likely to happen. And here's why. Because if you just set a goal somewhere in the future, right? That's the problem. Some people just set a goal and they don't even set a date. You set a date, now you're getting one step closer. But we're going to turn this up a notch so we can really, really make sure that we will be successful, whatever it is. So you have a goal, and now you have a date for that goal. So let's say it's $1 million in a year. I want to hit $1 million a year, right? People will make that a goal and they'll go watch all these YouTube videos how to make $1 million a year. I guarantee you can search that in YouTube. You'll find a ton of videos. You can watch these all day long, and you're gonna get analysis paralysis from you're like, oh, should I start a Shopify? Should I start this? Should I start that? That's the point of this video is not what to start. Remember, this is a strategy to use, a perspective to take that you can put towards anything. So you have your goal. You have it at some certain date, right? So like I said, $1 million in a year. The problem that people have is they don't work backwards. They don't break that down. What I mean is if you give your brain a problem, first of all, 1 million is hard to fathom. Now, I want you to imagine in your brain 10 chickens right now. Can you see? First of all, imagine one. That's super easy, right? You can imagine one chicken in your mind right now. Now imagine 2. It's pretty easy to see. Imagine 10. You can probably still see it. Now imagine 100 chickens. Now your brain's probably jumping around about what that looks like. We're only at 100, all right? If I give your brain and tell you to imagine 1 million chickens, your brain doesn't know what that looks like. It's never seen 1 million chickens, right? It doesn't know how to compute that problem. We're not even talking about how to find or make 1 million chickens. We're talking about just visualizing it, okay? And if your brain's struggling to visualize it, right, same goes with money, how do you think your brain is going to come up with a solution of how to even get there? So what we need to do, you have your end goal, that's great. Set it up, set it high, put the bar high, put a date for it. But now here's what we need to do. We need to work backwards. We need to break this down. So if I wanted to make $1 million in a year, how much would I need to make per day? What you would need to make per day is $2,739.73 per day. That is a number that we can work with and we can fathom. That is a number that you give it to your brain can start to say, okay, now I can start to come up with solutions. So now instead of searching how do I become a millionaire, which is super vague, you're going to get so many options, analysis paralysis, you're not going to know which direction to head to, Now we have a number that's $2,739.73. That's a lot easier to work with. You've probably seen $2,000 in your life. Your brain can fathom this. Your brain can say, okay, here's a problem I can start to work out. Now you can get more detail. Now you don't need to search how to become a millionaire and all this because you're going to get advice that probably is not going to suit you. It's probably not going to be for your situation, right? But now you have a number that you can work with. Okay, so if you're making $50 a day, $100 a day, $200 a day right now, you can go ahead and subtract that from that $2,739.73. You've already made a lot of progress towards being a millionaire, right? If you take your total number and you say I make $30,000 a year and you looked at $1 million, you're going to feel like I'm so far from there. And again, if you keep comparing yourself to making $1 million, you're going to feel so far away from that goal that even if you work towards this for months, like 3 months, 6 months to become a millionaire, you're still comparing your income to $1 million. You're like, oh, I'm only making, now I've increased my income, but I'm only making $500 a day now, but I'm still, so far from being a millionaire. you're just going to feel so far away, and eventually you're probably going to give up because you just keep looking at that end goal, right? But now you take this number, 2,000, you can work with. Now, instead of asking how to make a million, you can either search, how can I make 2,000 a day? Now, that's still going to be kind of vague. You still might get a lot of like analysis paralysis, a lot of answers, but you're going to find more doable things, right? Because the search results for how to become a millionaire a year, it's just going to be all over the place. Instead of asking, how can I make that 2,000 and to change, ask yourself, how can I make an extra $50 a day? And if that's hard, like if you're searching and it's like all these things aren't working for you, they require too much capital, you don't have the time, search how to make an extra $10 a day. When you've made that progress, you step it up. And now you can see how somebody who's going to do this, right, is going to make a lot more progress a lot faster than somebody who's just focusing on the million that's like way down the line. Who's just saying, oh, I got to make $1 million a year by this, by the end of this year, whatever. Even if neither of them make it to the million by the end of the year, I promise you the guy who's broken this down, he knows what he needs to make per day. And he's been working and cutting this down into smaller chunks that his brain can handle and process. He's going to make way more progress than somebody who just keeps eyeballing that 1 million and just keeps searching every day how to make $1 million, how to make $1 million. And he might have more ideas. He can just blurt out a bunch of stuff. But the guy who's doing the extra $10 a day, $50 a day, he is the one who's actually getting experience, doing work, and getting close to that goal. Now, you can use this for anything, okay? Say you wanted to gain 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you just have that number in your head and that's it, you're just going to be saying, okay, I need to post videos or whatever. Because I did this my first year on YouTube. I just said, oh, I just want to monetize the channel and have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's what I said. And then it got to the end of the year and I was halfway to that number. I was at 500. Talking about I have a different channel, by the way, but I was halfway there at 500. And then I realized I didn't even use my strategy that I've used for other things. So instead of having a number in your head and having a date for it, yeah, that's half the process. But what I didn't do was work backwards and break down how much I needed per day. Okay? So for example, if I wanted to have 5,000 subscribers but in 1 year, okay, that is doable. But what you would need is about 100 subscribers per week. Even less than that, but if you did 100, that'd be 5,200, an extra 200 on top of that, right? Maybe that's good for the subscribers you lose, so you'll kind of equal out. So 100 subscribers per week divided by 7, that's 14 per day. That's not too bad, right? I mean, it's not easy, but getting 100 per week is a lot easier than getting 5,000 in a year. Even though it's practically the same, right? But it sounds easier, and it kind of is because it's something your brain can fathom. It can break it apart and it can say, okay, how can we do this? Let's say you only get 50 subscribers. Is it not better to go a week and you only gain 50 and you look back and you say, okay, I didn't hit my goal. So what can I do next week to do better? Is that not better than going the whole year? Now, let's say at the end of the year, you only have 500 or 1,000. You're way off from 5,000. And at the end of the year, now you say, okay, I didn't hit my goal. What can I do to improve? You wasted a whole year instead of breaking it down into days and weeks to where you can audit yourself and say, okay, I did not hit this goal. If I don't fix this, I won't be in my goal by the end of this year. I need to fix this now. I need to address this now. Let's do one thing. Focus on one thing we can do better. Next week, if it improves, you say, okay, that worked. Let's keep improving. And you gradually get towards your goal, right? But people now are so focused on like just setting up something big in the future and just leaving it there and just having that in the brain and just thinking like one day they're going to get there. You need to systematically break these big goals of yours down into these small chunks that you can do daily and weekly, that your brain can actually process and fathom and say, oh yeah, this is possible. You need to audit yourself at the end of the week and see how you're doing on that goal. Are you making progress? Are you not? If not, what do I need to do to change? You change it, audit the next week. Do this, guys, and you will be successful in anything. No success and anything great comes quick. But if you follow this advice, you will get there. I promise you. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to get better every single day.